Doors. By far, the most popular Roblox horror game ever made. Such a beautifully simple concept. So simple, in fact, that I was shocked that it took this long for a halfway decent developer to make a game like it. But sometimes the most simple of concepts need to be executed the most carefully. And this is why Doors is so good at a fundamental level. Doors has spawned so many horror games from its hinges to the point where it's basically its own genre. Now, I was originally turned off by Doors fan games. Because of its simplicity, developers could steal literally everything from the game mechanics to the enemy designs. It's an open door, no pun intended, to be extremely lazy. And it's an unfortunate fact that a lot of developers these days would rather make a sugary slot machine than an actual video game. But Pressure is not one of those games. In fact, Pressure is not just a fantastic Doors fan game, but it's what I consider to be near perfect execution of the Doors formula. Allow me to explain. With Doors being as simple as open door, use key, get lore, and die, it's allowed the good developers of Roblox to expand upon its formula. And Pressure does this far better than any other fan game that I've seen. Look, I'm gonna level with you for a second. 85% of my praise towards this game involves its world building and characters, but even in terms of gameplay, it's extremely solid. So because this video is just me comparing this game to Doors and what it does better / worse, let's just get right into it. So full stop, if you've played Doors like ever, you've played Pressure. It's that simple. You go through a bunch of rooms, opening a bunch of doors, trying to get to room 100. Using key cards, flash beacon guns, lanterns, and that sweet, sweet data, you claw your way through weird fleshy rooms, jungle-type infections, and ultra kill references like there's no tomorrow.
It's playing the ultra kill music. It's playing Take Care.
Along the way, you meet several delightful entities that will try to kill you every 2 seconds, it seems. Continuing with the Doors influence, the angler entities are all based off of some version of Rush, and the massive shark with scary eyes is based off of the eyeball cluster from Doors. You can hide in lockers, hide under tables, but you can't crucify enemies like you're playing Faith, which is the first major L of this game. Because all I really want is for the protagonist of this game to not be approved by the Vatican. Is that so much to ask? But you know what is approved by the Vatican? Subscribing to this channel. We just recently hit 17,000 subscribers, and it would be really cool if we could get 20,000 by the end of the summer. So if you've been enjoying this video so far and want to see more just like it, make sure you click that subscribe button so you can see more of it in the future. One thing that really stood out about Doors is the sheer amount of action in the game. You see, a good horror game balances pure horror and pure action. Take RE7 and RE Village. 7 was praised for being a truly horrifying experience while dropping a lot of the action, and Village was criticized for not having enough horror and too much action. An even more extreme example is Resident Evil 5 and 6, which are universally memed into oblivion because of the complete lack of horror. Doors does a shockingly good job of balancing action and horror for a Roblox game. The now iconic Seek Chase and the Lock Puzzle are great examples of taking a break from the horror to give the player some excitement. Because let's be honest with ourselves, opening Doors for 30 minutes is not exactly breathtaking gameplay. I don't care how many freaky guys you throw at me. But what if I told you that while Doors does a good job of balancing action and horror, Pressure gets it almost perfectly. Being set in an abandoned underwater base opens so many okay, seriously, I'm not trying to make puns. This video's writing has a mind of its own. Being set in an abandoned underwater facility allows the developers of this game to go absolutely insane with the environmental storytelling. And believe me, they do. This looks like a Valve game. For example, about halfway through the game, you have to reset some generators that have broken to fix the door leading forward. There's only one generator to fix per room, and there's only 2 rooms, and they take like 10 seconds to fix max. But not even 10 rooms later, you find yourself in this situation.
What? Whoa. What? Was that a guy? Oh, no way. Whoa, no, dude. Oh, this sucks. Where do I hide? Where can I go? 1, 2, 3. Oh. No. Get in the locker.
And instead of fixing one generator in a room with nothing in it, you're now dodging this guy while fixing 5. When I first got to this part, I was freaking out like I had never before in a Roblox game. That's how intense it really was. And that's just one example. There's another entity that spawns and attacks similar to the anglers, except if it sees you get in a locker, it initiates this Doors heartbeat style minigame where you have to keep your cursor in the middle of the screen while it violently shakes you around. Or even the sick animation of the eye shark thing zooming into your view and trying to kill you. It's the insane attention to detail that this game has that puts it above Doors 9 times out of 10. Moving on from the action-horror balance, we gotta start talking about the lore and world building of this game. In Doors, you're just kind of thrown into it Luigi's Mansion style, and for my first time playing Doors, I thought it was exactly that. But Pressure hits you with atmosphere and storytelling right off the bat, setting us up for a wild ride indeed. We learn that we're playing as an inmate in a maximum security prison. We don't know what we're charged with or even if we've been legally incarcerated or not. All we do know is that personnel from a corporation called Urban Shade wants some crystal that lurks in the back of an abandoned facility called Blacksite. If you complete this mission, you'll not only be rewarded with what looks to be a vast sum of money, but also a federal pardon from prison. However, you're expendable, and the risk of death is extremely high. But what are your options? Rot away in a prison cell or risk it all for a chance at freedom? Looks like our protagonist made that choice for us. Donning an oxygen tank in prison uniform, we take the plunge into Blacksite to retrieve the crystal. See what I'm talking about? Before even spawning into the lobby, I am hooked. All right, there's no more puns in this video, I promise. I'm hooked on the story. An interesting note about the world building in this game is that every time you die to an entity, and trust me, even if you're a Doors veteran, you will die plenty of times. Every time you die, you unlock a little bit more lore about whatever killed you. No, not yet. I'm getting there, just hold your horses. Before we get into the rest of this video, I want to go over something that I forgot to mention up until this point. Let's get real for a second. This is a Bedsheet Ghost video, and it's not a Bedsheet Ghost video until I gush about the game's soundtrack for 20 minutes. Horror games in general are in a bit of a pickle when it comes to music. Out of every single game genre, horror has to be the one that is the most shoehorned into one specific style. Pressure is a horror game that's set in a secret underwater facility full of horrifying SCP-like monsters and tricky puzzles. That's pretty specific if you ask me. However, what's so great about the soundtrack to Pressure is the fact that Ren, aka No Longer Null, the game's lead composer, doesn't stick to one specific style of music. Not every track is a long, drawn-out drone that makes you uneasy. There's action-packed Ultra Kill-esque tracks in here that, in context, generate an immense amount of adrenaline. But there's also tracks like Closed Casket Funeral, Dying Campfire, and The Park on the Old Mountain, 3 incredibly somber and emotional tracks that really convey to the player that wherever they're about to go, there's a high probability they won't come back. The Park on the Old Mountain is one track that I specifically want to highlight, a beautiful, almost fantastic violin ballad, packed with so much emotion that when you hear it during a run, you really feel like the world is crashing in around you. It spikes so much intrigue and awe, and it really makes me happy that something like this is inside of a Roblox game. This game's soundtrack is 28 tracks long, each with its own unique feeling attached to it, and I really can't wait to hear more as the game continues to get updated. Every song just really adds to the lore, if you think about it. And speaking of the lore, let's get back to that. I love how this game guards its lore so heavily. You can really tell that there was a lot of effort and time and energy and resources and focus and dedication and passion and... See? Oh!
Hey, over here.
Wait, is that... Okay, fine, you win. All right, I'll talk about him, okay? You win. Just give me a second. I'm going to be 100% honest with you here. I would not be making a video about this game if it was not for one specific thing. One small detail, one small element to its vast narrative and gameplay direction. To explain this part of the video, we're gonna first talk about everyone's favorite Resident Evil 4 character, the shopkeeper. You know, the guy who you pull up and he's like, "What are you buying?" Or what's the other one? He's like, got some new things for sale. And he's like Australian or something. You know, that guy. Such an integral part of RE4's design and appeal. Well, what if I told you that Pressure does the exact same thing, but arguably even better? Okay, well, maybe not better, but like adjacent. I'm not biased. Shut up. In the red corner, weighing in at 4 studs tall and 4 studs wide, the lampshade lambaster, the worklock warrior, Bedsheet Ghost. And in the blue corner, weighing in at like 1,500 pounds and enough attitude to give Luis Serra a run for his money, Sebastian Solis. That's right, baby. 3 pages in and we finally get to talk about this guy. Voiced by the fantastic Gianni Matragrano, aka the voice of Gabriel from Ultrakill, Sebastian is the only friendly character in this game. And by friendly, I mean a complete dick.
All right. I'll have it ready for you to read when you're at the surface again.
No, you fucker. Oh my god, he's gonna make me do it again. But I'm buying this time. And this. Also, I want to point out the badge for doing business with that guy. The description says, the only reason why you're playing this game, which is probably the most self-aware dev comment I've seen about this. Sebastian not only serves as the shopkeeper at room like 50 something, but he's also the character that gives you the details on whatever thing killed you, revealing more and more of the document after every subsequent death. This dude is so sick. First of all, the design. Looking like a freak accident at Professor Oak's lab mixed with some SCP mixed with Spooky's jump scare mansion, and with the actual shop on his tail, you just
pick it off my tail.
You know what? The devs were right about us. Sebastian is truly the only reason I'm playing this game. Joking aside, I think that having a character like this is not only integral to the story, but integral to the core gameplay loop as well. And it's really what sells this game for me. Okay, so now we're getting into spoiler territory because I want to talk about the ending of this game because it's like half of the game and how amazing it is. So if you haven't played Pressure up to this point, please stop watching this video and go play it. I'm serious. It's absolutely something that you want to experience blind the way I did. By the time you get to door 100, you should be fully stacked on medkits, batteries, and enough light sources to replicate that one video of the dude getting flashbanged in CSGO. Upon entering, you're met with this gigantic room that sits above a chasm. Across this chasm is the very crystal that you've worked so hard for. However, this crystal is also what's powering Blacksite, so taking it means cutting the power and waiting for the backup generators to come online. This part is horrible, plunging you into complete darkness, and you better not use no lantern, okay? I see you. Don't use it, because no matter where you look, there's a 110% chance that you're going to aggro this one enemy called the Squiddle, and it's going to jump scare you, and also do like 40 damage. And as much as I like the lantern, it really sucks in this one specific instance. And congratulations! With the crystal in hand, you're now a little over halfway through this game. You now need to power an external battery, which will allow the submarine to land nearby, thus facilitating your escape from the facility. But as mentioned before, it's completely pitch black. And how I managed to do this first try is completely beyond me. After making it through a bunch more rooms, the backup generators kick in and the lights come back on. This room is absolutely amazing. Just the sheer scale of this game really starts to hit you right about here. We've gone from, at times, extremely cramped rooms and dark hallways to this vast area that looks to be a control center. We can look out the window to see what appears to be a gigantic pair of robotic legs, and the voiceover on the PA system informs that we're nearly there. At this point, if you haven't already spent 60 Robux, that is, you should be pretty low on health. While you're past the point where enemies can jump scare you, you're really not out of the woods yet. Our final task is to fix 7 undersea cables that have ripped. These cables activate what's called an external repellent cannon, and in order for it to turn on, we need to fix all of them. The voice on the PA system also says that the metal thing outside is named Lucy, and that when all 7 cables are fixed, they'll sound her horn, letting you know that you're done. One thing to note in this room is that there's a file that you can pick up. Now, we've been picking up files and flash drives and whatever this is this whole time because that's what gave us data that we could give to Sebastian. However, this one is different because instead of giving us money, we look at it for a second and then
I'll be taking
Whoa.
that.
Man, I really hate that guy.
Gianni, why are you taking my
On to the final test. This brings back everyone's favorite enemy, the searchlight guy.
No, it's not this guy. No.
Except now, you're underwater. Oh, and there's also three of them.
Oh, there's 3 of them. They spawned 3 of them.
Oh god. Yeah, so this part kinda sucks. You have to swim around this area fixing cables while these searchlight guys hunt you down. However, unlike the last time you dealt with this enemy, there was only one, and it moved in a very predictable pattern. This time, you're outnumbered, and the searchlights act far more inconsistent. Miraculously, I was able to fix all 7 cables, activate the cannon in the middle of the map, and escape the facility. But of course, not before this happened.
Oh my god. It's a giant robot. I can't believe this, dude. That was so nuts. Bro, I'm like shaking right now.
This is seriously one of the most heart-stopping finales to a Roblox horror game I've ever experienced. The ramping up music, the difficulty, the payoff, it all just makes you more curious as to what's really going on in this game. And upon entering the submarine to escape, you're treated to this bit of text explaining that you hand over the crystal, and in turn, receive a bunch of money as well as a pardon from prison. No one's going to believe you anyway. Congratulations on being one of the lucky few people to actually beat this game. Hey man, if there's any devs who work on this game watching this video right now, please let me voice act, dude. Please, dude, I'll do it for free, man. Just let me be like a Easter egg on Sebastian's radio or something.
What else does he have?
Bro's selling that baked beans. He's got baked beans. I'll do like a voice log or something. Just let me be in the game, bro. Please. Pressure is an absolute trip. Every single small detail in this game just sucks you into its world. The characters, the story, the gameplay, and the atmosphere just paint this amazingly dark yet fascinating world that begs you to come back. And I must say, I am happy to oblige. Shout out to Urban Shade Hadal Division for making a game that would make L-Splash blush. But also, I hate you because Sebastian made fun of me. Yo, fuck you. And that made me really upset and sad. So the highest score I can give this game is a 1 out of 10. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.